Welcome to Retro Rock Roundup, the podcast where we talk about all things rock. I am your host, Mike Wiles. I want to thank you for tuning in. And as the song says, turning your sound up. I want to quickly thank the band Primal Moon for writing and recording our great theme song. You can find all their great music on Spotify and iTunes. But today, I am excited to welcome back to the Retro Rock Roundup Zoom studio for a third appearance. A great singer-songwriter from Chicagoland area, who is literally on fire musically right now. He seems to have new songs every month on Spotify. They're like dripping from his fingertips. He's releasing all these great new music, and he's playing shows nonstop all over the Chicagoland area. And he's just released a great new CD called Chai Rock that we're going to talk about today, that I think is one of the best smoking rock albums I've heard this year. And I'm proud to welcome back Mr. BradRedlich.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is great to be back for a third time.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining us. So where are you zooming from? For our audience that hasn't heard you before.
So this is actually my my home studio. So it's in my basement, and this is where a lot of the recording and the writing gets done. So I'm in Bolingbrook.
Well, that's nice. You got a whole setup right there, and it's great that technology today has, lent us so we can actually do all this stuff from home in a lot of ways.
Yeah, totally. It's been a big help, and a lot of this was created actually during the pandemic. Just needing to get my therapy out with music and be able to create, and I created the studio to do that.
Well, I think it's really cool because, if anything is good has come from the pandemic, I think the music-wise, is the music that's been written and performed and stuff during the pandemic is fantastic. All the artists, and I've said this a lot of times before, but I mean, from classic rock artists to new and up-and-coming artists, everybody had time on their hands that, and sat in a basement or in a room, picked up a guitar and started writing music, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, the do-it-yourself era was definitely during the pandemic. You couldn't jam with people, you couldn't create a band, so you really had to figure out how to do it on your own, and that's kind of what I use that time to do.
Yeah, everybody really evolved, technically so much better. I mean, and you've seen bands I've seen Chicago recorded something, the band Chicago, with like all their different members in different places with the different horns, and that's a lot of coordinating, to do it. But yeah, everybody seemed to be on top of their game because they wanted to play music, right? Like you said, you couldn't go jam at a club or whatever. You had to, basically stay separated. So there's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you were here previously in, I believe, 2021, and in 2022 you were here, and then you had some great songs out. Your earlier songs, Modern Classic, Ain't That a Shame, You Give Good Loving All the Time, awesome songs. But like in the last 6 months, man, you've been writing like crazy. What's giving you this great creative spark?
Yeah, I just the first like 10 songs I put on Spotify, they're all recorded by me. And lately I've been able to gel with some musicians in the area. And so I've been just taking them into the studio and recording some of the songs that I've had for a long time. I've had demos of them, but I just never got to the point where I thought that they were mixed well enough to release yet. So we did 2 live EPs, and then we did the most recent EP in the studio, Chai Rock. So we were able to just like knock out a bunch of songs that we've been playing live and just get that really good live feel too.
It really does. I will say, and I had this for later, but I'll say it now. The Chai Rock CD really, and I've seen you play quite a few times, you've really brought the energy to your live shows to these songs on the CD. It's got that same energy that you have, and that's what really jumped out at me when I started listening to this. I'm like, wow, it's got the same energy as his live shows, which are fantastic. And then you're still using, is Luke Pope doing the bass work, correct?
So he's on the bass for Chai Rock, and then Torian Johnson is my drummer. He's on the drums for that. And then
Yes.
I have another bass player on a different live EP we did. His name is Rob Kletsky. He plays in a local band called Matt Shukin and the Ramblers. So he's a phenomenal bass player. And so we kind of bounce around a little bit with different guys that we gel with and who's available for stuff and everything. So yeah, it just kind of depends on the gig sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Luke and Tori are one hell of a rhythm section together. You know,
Yeah.
when I saw you at the brewery last week or a couple weeks ago, man, those two just gel. And you know, I know Luke plays bass for Primal Moon, you know, and he is an amazing bass player. You know,
He really is.
you know, just holds that rhythm down like mad. You know, just stands there and just rocks, and it's so fantastic. And him and Tori seem to have a great, you know, chemistry together when they're playing with you.
Yeah, both these guys play in a bunch of different bands. They play a lot of different genres. And so when they come together, it's like they already know how to jam with each other. They've played so many different styles of music, and that's kind of what my stuff is too. I don't stick to just one thing. There's a lot of different stuff I'm pulling from in order to get this to get this sound, and they're just able to pick up on it so fast. So those are definitely my number one guys right there. But yeah, they're like, yeah, I'm blessed to to be able to play with them every time. There's always a point in the show where I'm just like sitting there watching them two just gel, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't even need to play guitar right now or sing. I'm just gonna enjoy this right now.
Yeah, no, they're fantastic. And, you know, it's really great that you're part of a great community in the Chicagoland area, or even in the suburbs here. We've got such a great talent base and such great bands. You know, yourself, Primal Moon, a lot of the ones I've seen, the one band, Color Me Amused that Tori plays in. You know, you've got such a great pool to pull from. You can, if you could get those guys come and, you know, jam with you for a while, it's fantastic. You've got such a great talent pool, and you're such a great community. Everybody helps each other out. I've seen you play with, you've opened up or played with Primal Moon, and then you come in and jam with them. You know, it's just great music and great chemistry.
Yeah, it's really about the hang when it comes to me and being with different musicians. There's a lot of talent, but I just like hanging out with these guys just outside of music too. So when we get on stage, it's even better, you know?
Yeah, and it shows that you guys aren't, you guys have got a passion for music, and you show it, and you're all just crazy talented. And your songs, I mean, your songs have evolved and matured, I think. You know, and again, that's not knocking the early stuff. I love modern classic, a lot of the early songs, but
Yeah.
I think the themes have changed. They've matured and grown, I'm sure, with you. You know, and your sound has evolved. So you when I heard you first, you know, it was more country rock, but now you put other things into it. You know, I see some blues in there. I hear some, and again, you make this your own sound, so you're not trying to copy, but you've got some Stones in there. You have some ZZ Top, Buddy Guy. You know, you get some Chicago blues you mix in there, but
Yeah.
you seem to pull it your own sound. What is that? What's got you involved? Was it just listening to that type of music, or?
Yeah, I love that you're pointing that out because that's 100% true. In some ways, my music has gotten a little bit heavier,
It
and then
has.
also, and that's just a result of being able to play with a band and write songs with a band that are heavier. I'm not playing solo acoustic every weekend anymore. I'm playing with a full band twice a week now. So I
Right.
can write these heavy songs that are more instrumental focused, and it really feeds into the live show being pretty kick-ass. But yeah, as far as the blues stuff, I go to this blues jam almost twice a week. It's called Johnny's Blitz. It's in Westmont, and they're like the top blues players in the suburbs that go there. And I think a lot of that has been rubbing off on me. I've always loved the blues. You can hear some of the riffs and stuff from the early stuff that's bluesy, but like just playing it every week it's just come into my playing, my normal playing now, just even more. So it's just kind of osmosis.
Yeah. And I think, and you've addressed this first thing, I had to tell you, you're like a marketing genius. You're on all the platforms. You're on Facebook. You're on Spotify. You're on, I believe, Instagram. You're on TikTok, all over TikTok, with great videos, fun videos. You know, you got your signage. You've got everything to really market yourself. But it seems like you've been addressing some things where maybe fans have tried to pigeonhole you into a certain style. You're a country artist. You're an emo artist. And your responses to all that, because it really is your own sound. How did that all come about?
I just thought of it one day. I thought this would be kind of fun, honestly. It's just kind of poking fun at stuff. It's nothing too serious, but
No, I know. It's fun.
and so yeah, that was like a fun way I could sing other people's songs on TikTok and stuff and get people to respond and be like, all right, well, I listened to your record and it actually sounds rock on this song, but this song is a little more country, and get a conversation going, because I think these days, especially, nobody is just one genre anymore. There's a lot of crossovers going on. Even if it's not their main style, you hear country guys going into hip hop now. You hear, different things going on. So I like to kind of start that conversation. I think a lot of my influence is classic rock focused, honestly. But I do like the Southern and country and blues and different stuff too. So just trying to make people aware that, like, I'm not just a one-trick pony. I'm not just playing country songs. How many country singers do you know that can shred guitar? I know, like,
that's right. Yeah, I'm right.
So
yeah,
right there, that should mean I'm not country. Like, I don't hear that stuff on the radio, guitar solos and stuff, and that's in every one of my songs. So,
well, and I think if you look back in, say, classic rock history, I mean, even like the Stones, when they released albums, I mean, you look at things like Let It Bleed, that Albert Key did in 69, 70. I mean, you had rock like Gimme Shelter. Then you went into blues with Love in Vain. They did country version of Honky Tonk Woman, the country honk. I mean, and then they had some more progressive stuff on there with Monkey Man. I think, everybody wants to try different things. Then later on, they're doing some Motown songs. So, I mean, I think if you're a musician, you love to take all the genres that you've grown up with and that's influenced you and make it your own sound out of it, but you want to experience that.
Yes, 100%. And like Clapton, Tom Petty, like these guys are playing reggae songs too. It's like they're on the cutting edge of what was popular, but they always made it their own. That was the thing that they always did. It wasn't like, I'm just going to follow this trend, to get more play. It was like, I'm going to make it my own and do, like you said, the Stones, they had all the different genres that they played too. It's like they really they loved music, man. They loved all kinds of music, and it was it was a great thing. So,
well, and I think you look at like Eric Clapton. I'm going to date myself here. I was 10 years old when he did release his version. I Shot the Sheriff. He kind of had a comeback, and nobody knew who Bob Marley was back then. In 1973, I'm a kid in Joliet, Illinois. Nobody knew what Bob Marley was, but we knew I Shot the Sheriff, and it was different than the Bob Marley version, but it still had a reggae tone to it. We didn't even know what reggae was. So he kind of opened that door, and if Stevie Wonder did some reggae stuff, the Stones did some reggae later, they opened that because it was music they enjoyed.
Yep. 100%. And there's some guys that are doing it in the current waves. I mean, John Mayer has done it a few different times.
Yeah.
He's gone into different genres and come back to his bread and butter and just trying to expand his vocabulary when it comes to music. And sometimes it's just an exercise. Like I'm going to try and write a reggae song today. And then sometimes it's crap, and if it's good and you think that it's authentic, like maybe you go ahead with it. So, those are the kinds of things I like to try and mess with when I'm a songwriter.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. So the new EP, you got it kind of combined into three things here, which I think is great. You simultaneously kind of released three things. And if you go to one of Brad's shows and get one of his CDs, you got all three on one CD. It's one hell of a buy. But first we're going to talk about Shyrock. 5 new original songs. The first 3 really just are smoking. These things just blow your speakers out, and they sound great from the beginning. And then you got a little more acoustic country songs mixed in there, some country tinge. But this album, I heard it, I'm like, wow, yeah, this is great. Brad's come a long way. He was great, but now he's really, really great. I really enjoyed it. Let me start out. It kicks off with the first song. We'll play a little bit, then you can talk a little background of the song.
Right,
is Got to Be You. This is from Shyrock.
your heart filled up with smoke. I've got no other place to go. Got my heart, my little baby. Got my love, my little baby. Lock me up, my little baby. Blow me out the water, girl. You know, it's got to be you. You know, yeah. You know, it's got to be you.
I mean, that song just starts out a great opener for the album. You got a little bit of that Keith Richard riff at the beginning, but then you go into, really into like a blues, but then you make that rock feel to it in the chorus. What kind of inspired that song?
God, I love that song.
That's fantastic.
I don't know how I came up with it, but I really just wanted that super heavy feel in the verse and to start out the song in the intro. That just be kind of bluesy type of thing, stonesy thing, and then the chorus just open it up, switch to major key, and just like have the super catchy chorus that's like a feel good type thing. And I think that's like probably the best thing I can do when it comes to music and songwriting is that catchy chorus with some really groovy instrumentals.
Yeah, and your guitar work is fantastic. I mean, just for our audience that maybe hadn't heard your previous episodes, how long have you been playing guitar?
Almost 10 years now. So I'm 29. I started in college. Just started all music in college. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and if you see Brad, you'll see what a great guitarist he's going to go see him live, because he even stretches it out even more. But this really sounds, your vocals, the emotion, and the way it was recorded sounds like one of your live shows.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was 100% the goal. We recorded the track live. We did a few takes, and then I just went in and punched in guitar solos and extra vocals and stuff like that. But I really wanted that live feel that we have, and I wanted to share that with everybody on a recording. So
what is where was this recorded at?
This was recorded at Gravity Studios in downtown Chicago. So it's in Wicker Park.
Nice.
They've had some pretty big acts come through there. Rise Against has recorded like 2 of their biggest records there. Fall Out Boy recorded like their first big record there. There's so many talented rock and different genres that have recorded there. So yeah, it's a solid place. It's really cool.
And did you do most of the producing also then?
Yeah, so I pretty much had all these songs mapped out and demoed, and then we just kind of went in there and did it the way that I had it, and then went and picked out guitar tones later on. So I didn't do the mixing of it. I had the guy there, the engineer, doing the mixing, but yeah, I was leading the way in terms of like how I wanted it all to sound. I'm pretty used to that at this point.
Yeah, well, you know your sound, and that's good, and you seem to have a knack for it too. The second song on the album is "Bad Guy," another blues rocker. Yeah, so we're gonna play a little bit of "Bad Guy" and talk about it.
Dusk at night, I ain't called you back. I didn't want to fight. I didn't let you go. I didn't want to let you down. I didn't want to get out. I liked having you around, but I'm the bad. I'm the bad guy. Always sleeping around before I could even open my eyes.
Again, great blues opening, guitar work, great vocals. but you're the bad guy. What inspired the lyrics? I love it.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite like stories that I've told in these songs. It's just basically a story about kind of people talking behind your back and backstabbing you when you really weren't the one doing anything wrong. Maybe they were the ones that were saying stuff about you, and you called them out, and then now you're the bad guy because you stood up for yourself. That's like one of my favorite things that I've written for sure. A lot of angst.
I mean, yeah, you always have a good story in your songs. I mean, are these things that some things are from real life experience, some things are stories about people, or
yeah, that's if it wasn't a story about something, it's really hard for me to finish the song. Like it has to really be meaningful, like down to my core, or else I can't really sing it the way that, you know, really, really comes out in the song and with that angst and that emotion. So yeah, it's a lot of it's observational. Some of it is stuff that I've experienced. I kind of take bits and pieces from different things that have gone on and put it into a song, try to make it poetic.
No, that's good. Now, when you're writing these songs, I mean, does the lyrics come first, then you try to put some music with it, or do you get a riff and then try to put some lyrics with that riff you come up with?
It's crazy. Like every time can be super different. Sometimes I'll just come up with the title. Sometimes I'll come up with a catchy like chorus thing. Sometimes it starts with a guitar riff, and I'm like, I really need to use this guitar riff in a song and come up with something cool with it. So it's kind of like you're kind of filling in the blanks. Like you're looking at you're playing Wheel of Fortune, and you get you say A and you get all these blanks filled in, and then later on, you know, you're trying to figure out what are all the other letters, how is this all going to fit into one package, you know, one title. So that's kind of how, in a nutshell, I describe just songwriting in general.
Yeah, no, it's great because I think, and I guess everything comes a little different to everybody, and each song comes different. I think the advantage, like you said, though, is you've been working on these songs for a while, correct? You know, and it seems like you've gotten to the right point, you know?
Yeah, I'm always like, I have like 10 or 15 songs always just kind of in the pipeline at different points, and then like I'll have the initial inspiration for the song, and then there'll be a day where I'll be able to sit down and actually like finish it or keep crafting it, and then, you know, keep inching different songs forward. And then I usually bring it to the band after that, and then we, you know, get on the same page with everything. But I try and have it like 100% done before I do that. Just seems to be better.
I mean, do they, when you're working, say, with Luke or Tori or anybody else, I mean, do they throw their own little parts into it too, though?
I definitely encourage them to do that. I have definitely a very basic understanding of drums and bass. I would never call myself a drummer or a bass player, but I can play both instruments, and I kind of know in general, you know, where the pauses are, where we need to be on the same page with things, what kind of general like riffs I want to hear with it, and what energy I want them to bring. But I definitely encourage them to like figure out their own fills and their own taste when it comes to the music, like 100%.
Yeah, no, it sounds like when you hear these songs, it sounds like great chemistry, you know.
Yeah.
It could be the BradRedlich band. Everybody seems to really play on the same page. It's like you just threw in a studio musician. You know, they really seem to be with the music and playing right along with you. And like I said, it sounds like you guys playing live.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I chose to bring them in. I could have brought in studio musicians. I've done that in the past, but it's like I really wanted their sound, and kudos to them. They're top tier professionals for sure.
Yeah, and and the chemistry is there. You can tell.
Yeah.
The next song is "Easy Way Out," another rocker. Let's play that.
You got the groove, you know how to bake. Man, but you from your head to your boots, even even though you're a million miles away. Good girl, I walked in, well, I was feeling like I'm on the edge. Been in love for bad enough, I never thought you would split this jam. You took the easy way out. Yeah, well, you took the easy way out. Well, you're long gone, baby. I still love you without a doubt.
That definitely is very Buddy, I would say Buddy Guy influenced, you know, again, your own sound, but man, you just dig into that opening riff. I don't know if you ever heard it. Buddy Guy released an album, one of my favorite Buddy Guy albums called Sweet Tea, about 2001.
Okay.
And, you know, you go back and listen to it, you know, it's got that rough, edgy blues, the blues rock thing, you know, that maybe his other stuff had more traditional blues, and you know, I love it, and I love that because you got, again, you're making your own sound, but you really got that Chicago blues influence in there. How did you come up with that song? I love the guitar work in it too.
Thank you, man. Yeah, just wanted that really gritty blues rock, like angsty song, and we tuned down to E flat, and then I tuned my E string down to C sharp. So we're in drop C sharp, which is like what metal players play in. So
Yeah, I feel the heavy metal to it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it kind of has that really heavy guitar to it. And that was something I really wanted to write, something like in that tuning. And then came up with the riff, and everything just started to feel right. And then the background guitars and stuff, I'm using like some crazy weird metal guitar. It's got like this thing where it creates a harmonic every time you play a note. So that's what that ringing noise is. It's not a synthesizer or anything. It's actually a guitar. So I bought this metal guitar during I think a year ago or something. And I was like, I could use this in the studio. So I brought it in, and I'm like, all right, we're going to try some weird tones and just like make the guitar parts as weird as possible to just give it a different feel just from traditional blues rock. So we try to.
Yeah, I know it definitely got a little different, but I like how it's organic. It's something.
Yeah.
It's not you know, processed. You know,
Right,
it's not a sample or something. You know, it's not synthesized. It's actually the real music, and you can tell it's got edge to it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with my songwriting is like, if I can't play it on a guitar or with the band, like you can dress it up however you want, but to me it doesn't feel like as authentic as like I came from writing songs just on my acoustic guitar or with my electric guitar and plugged into an amp, and that's how I come up with these tones. So I'm trying to keep that. While everyone's trying to go to the super modern age, I'm trying to keep as much of the classic as I can without being, you know, out of style.
Well, I mean, sonically, the album sounds fantastic, but there's a live, raw element to it that is what makes it good.
Yeah, you can't get that groove just like recording separately or not recording with your band live.
Right. Or there's, you know, like you see something's got a studio sheen to it. You don't need that. You got just pure emotion in it. So it's really good. The last two songs are good also, but they're more of a country flavored, I want to say.
Yep.
We'll play Drive and talk about it. This is Drive from Shyrock.
I've been lost in a breaker. I've been dust on the shelf. I've been waiting to make up about myself. How could so many ladies leave me out in the cold? Thought they could, or a campfire burning on, nothing to keep me warm. Yeah, you wanna drive right out of this town. See a dirt road, it's a long way out. You wanna fly back to Tennessee Ain't nothing there mean more to me than your face in the dark on the ride home. Saying I love you with the lights on. Can't feel your heart when I'm on the road and you're gone. Yeah, you wanna drive.
Now that was probably closer to more contemporary country music, you hear today. But again, you got your own edge to it, and not the I want to say a lot of it today is very polished, over polished, and I think you still got a lot of the emotion into it. I love it. I love the steel guitar work in there too in the background.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's a really cool track. I was trying to go in between the lines of the contemporary country and then kind of like the Eagles, early Eagles stuff, Peaceful Easy Feeling, that type of thing. And even some of the Tom Petty stuff. It's got that country rock feel where it's like, but it doesn't, you're right, it doesn't feel like it's a studio recorded, like straight up, perfect sounding thing. It's like it's alive. The music is alive, and I think that's kind of the point I've been trying to get across with this record is, it's the songs are really polished and the musicians are polished, but the record feels alive. It doesn't feel so static,
And that's a great anthemic song. It's a good song to be playing live to a big crowd. You can get them to sing along to that. I think that's really cool. You've got that hook. You can do the heavy rock songs like the ones we talked about earlier, but you got that knack to put a song like this, which is like you said, a take it easy kind of Eagles thing that people can pick up on and start singing along. Like you said, great to be played out live. That song is meant to be played live.
That's probably the biggest one I've heard from people that's their favorite song is Drive so far, especially because we put out the music video too with it. I don't know if you've seen that, but people really like that as well. So yeah, I can't leave that. Even though I'm trying to get heavier with rock, I can't leave that acoustic stuff behind because
I think it sounds good though. I think you've got I think it's good. I mean, you've always wrote great. I mean, modern classic. When I heard that first time, I was still listening to it 2 days later. It was going through my head. I'm like, oh, this guy's good because he can write a song I can still remember, 3-4 days later. And I think this is right in that same vein with it, And I think you need that, and it just shows what a well-rounded songwriter and performer you are. You've got that, and when you're playing a crowd, you're going to get people that are going to love that.
Yeah,
it's really like it's a crowd participation number. And I think you're going to get some. Yeah, it's going to be a good. I see that's a good big summer crowd song.
Yeah, totally.
So, and then it ends with Every Red Light, another kind of country tinge song. Let's play that, and then we'll talk about it. Let me make sure I get the sound up. There we go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Always late, times on the line, driving me so crazy. No, it ain't cold in the night when you're sneaking, baby. Wait for love to save me, 'cause my heart's gone for chasing. She left me gone again when I can't get away from every red light. I lose my mind, 'cause girl, you're so fine to make you mine. Oh yeah, I'd hit every red light, hit every red.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a great way, I think, to end that. It's kind of an emotional ending to the album, and it's country change, but you still got, you can tell you've been playing that blues club because you got a little of that blues into it too that really sets it apart.
Yeah, I definitely had to add a few blues licks in there. But But yeah, definitely a little more country, a little more laid back. Kind of a darker country song though. It's not really one. A lot of the country stuff I hear is very like happy and like, yeah, like, you know, lovey-dovey and shit. And I struggle to write those types of songs a lot of times. I always like the darker stuff. That's kind of where I've come from with music. So
yeah, no, it's emotional, and your voice, I like how you can take a softer song, but your voice carries the emotion into it. You're singing, really as an edgy part to it that really sound like you're into the song, and the song sung beautifully. There's a great end to it. So those 5 songs are fantastic. All of them. I think it's a great summation of where your career is now. It is great. I think people need to go through this. What's that?
Good sampler, right?
It is a good sampler, and it would be, if you put out that would be an album, because you've got some heavy music, you got some lighter music, you got your country, your rock, your blues, but everything into your own sound that you have your own trademark on it. And I think it's good. It's good from beginning to end. There's no filler. It's really perfect. And then you've got on the CD, you've got the other ones, your little mini EPs you released. I'm going to get into just a couple songs from them. The other one is live at DZ Records, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that, which you've got some completely rougher, great takes on some of your, I'm going to call them older songs, and I love the Rosh's take on those songs. I mean, they're really, really good. Let me go so I can pull that one up here real quick. It's really, when I first put it on, I'm like, is this just, I didn't know, like, I saw live at DZ, I'll play it. Like, wow, these are different than the versions I've heard before, So where is DZ Records and what came about with this?
So DZ Records is downtown Chicago now, but they used to be out the suburbs. They've done local music festivals for local musicians for like 10 years now. And they've done different sessions. So he just moved downtown, and we wanted to get in there and do a few songs. Originally we were going to just do 2 songs, but then I was like, you know what? I think we can do 4. We'll just knock them all out. We did 2 takes each, took the best take of each song. And I was like, some of the older ones I felt like didn't capture exactly what the feeling of the song is live after playing it so many times. So like Ain't It a Shame and Modern Classic, I really wanted to get that feel. So yeah, we decided to do those.
Yeah, I think that Modern Classic, again, was a song I always loved, but it is really close to how you play it live, which is great too. It's got that, that more the rowdy version that you play live. And again, it captures your energy on stage in the studio. So let's play Modern Classic, because I think I love the song, but when I heard this version, I'm like, oh yeah, this is different. This is great. So I think I messaged you right away. I'm like, wait a minute, this is really good. We got to get together. And then you're like, oh, 5 more songs coming out. Like, okay, well, wait. So I'm glad I waited. So this is the new version of Modern Classic. This is from live at DZ Records.
Right to the point, no game, no fame. She don't care who the boss is. When she gets to walking, denim jacket's gonna make you fall. All torn up on the shoulder, on for 10 years or more, but style won't grow older. Oh, she's a good girl like that. Thought she was a shooting star. She's a modern classic, gotta have it. Feel like I'm in love the first time. It's tragic, I imagine. Keeping that Arlen up all night. Sold my soul to the devil in the dark, which is like that. It's tragic, I imagine. It's a modern classic.
cool that you reimagine that as a faster song too, you know.
Yeah, that tends to happen when we play these songs live. We're all like double
It's good. You got the little break with a little all right, all night. I like the little break in there with the harmony. And I like the opening riffs. You know, it kind of got the early faces, Rod Stewart, like the, you know, his rocker songs. I love it. Again, you put your own stamp on it, but I like that you've already taken your own songs and reimagined them to something even, I think, even better.
Yeah. I mean, the studio versions are always kind of a little more dumbed down in a way, and then the high energy just comes in when we play live. And like once I heard us do those songs, I'm like, all right, we got to get in the studio and we got to record the new songs like this too. And then we were able to polish them up a little bit more in the studio because we had more time. But it was like, yeah, it just kind of reaffirmed what I was thinking. Was I always wanted to record stuff live. It's just like during the pandemic, I learned how to do it all on my own, and I thought it sounded pretty good. But I was like, I love live music. Like I like to go see bands. I like to go see people who aren't playing the click tracks. I like seeing, you know, real raw stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, you've grown as a performer. You know, even from 2 years ago. I mean, your shows are really, really great now. I mean, they were great before, but like really, you really get into them, and you can tell you're improvising more. You know, with the band, especially, I think, like you said, you got more things you can work with there, and you guys stretch out your songs, and they just sound great. And you sound like you always look like you're having fun.
yeah, we're this career path is way too difficult to not have fun.
That's right. Oh, it is definitely.
There's so much you got to do, especially these days. You got to be your own manager now too, and you got to, you know, book things and put out advertisements and everything. So it's like we're always I'm wearing a lot of different style hats. So it's like if I didn't enjoy it, it wouldn't be worth doing.
That's right. Yeah, you're the marketing rep. You got everything going on. You know, but you do a great job with it. And then you got a couple acoustic songs that from a Synergy studio. You get an acoustic version of Drive, and then you got another really cool song, Sober. We'll play Sober. We'll talk about it. It's another, you know, it's another aspect of your music. There we go. This is Sober.
Every look you gave me was so bad. Said I'd give you everything I have when it's over. When it's over. Scared to take this thing too far. 'Cause there's alcohol in this guitar when it's over. When it's over. Oh yeah. Shot in the parking lot. Just a drop or close the law. We're off in a perfect spot where we hit the slide. We'll tell our friends cause we both get caught. But now you're calling me crazy. Cause I keep calling you baby. Yeah, when it's over. When it's over.
I like this because you kind of let your voice be the instrument in this one here. You got a little echo on it, which is a nice touch to it. And just puts the guitar in the background. What were your thoughts on when you recorded this? It's more of a darker song also, but I love it.
Yeah, so the Synergy Studios was another live thing we did. So just me and a guitar. I wanted to just do something, you know, because all these songs that I write are supposed to be played acoustically in sound. That's my pass. That's my litmus test. Like if it sounds good on the acoustic guitar, it's a good song. So yeah, we did that, and this song, I haven't ever played the song live. So I just kind of thought one day, I was like, I have this song and I really want to record it, but I think acoustic is where it's going to sound the best. So I was like, all right, well, I'll do it at this for this session, and I think it turned out pretty good. But definitely a darker song, definitely kind of an Every Red Light Part 2 type song. It's like more yeah, darker country type thing. A little more vulnerable than some of the stuff you're probably used to hearing from me.
Well, I think you still have, I mean, you have, I know a lot of your music is maybe more electric now, but you do a great job with the acoustic. You do play some acoustic shows, I'm sure, now and then. And it's great to have a song like this because your voice carries it. And I really, like I said, I like the effect of the studio where the voice is high, farther up in the mix, but got that echo to it. And the
Yeah.
guitar takes a little back seat, but it sounds great. It really comes across better, I think, than this type of song.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think it was a cool song, and I think they did a really good job recording it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I really want our listeners to, jump on, their music platform and check out all three of these, the Chai Rock, Live at DZ, the Synergy Studio songs. But go see, if you're in the Chicagoland area, come and see Brad live because it's a great show. And you can, usually he's got copies of Shyrock, and the Shyrock CD's got all three of these EPs on one CD. It's great listening. It's well worth it to get a physical copy of it. I love having physical copies of things. And this will be out next week. And if you join the Retro Roundup Patreon subscriber, you got a chance to win one of 3 CDs I'm going to be giving away to our Patreon subscribers. Level instructions on that later in the show, but yeah, we're going to be giving away some Brad stuff to our listeners. But go see him because this is great. So, what you got one hell of a busy schedule on your live shows. But kind of in a nutshell, what do you got coming up in the next couple of months? You're kind of all over the place, looks like.
Yeah. I honestly even forget some of the shows because there's so many now. But yeah, this coming weekend we're playing downtown Chicago with the band at McGee's Tavern.
Nice.
That's gonna be super cool. We're gonna have a video guy come out to that and create some sick footage. That place is always packed. And then the following weekend we're doing a little music festival with some local guys at Brower House. I just confirmed a gig, another gig at Brower House at the end of the summer, opening for a really big TikTok guy. His name is Zy Cash. He's got like 500,000 followers on TikTok. So we're going to do that. Then we got a few music festivals. We're playing at Ballydoyle, Tailgaters in Bolingbrook, Smoke Show Barbecue in Naperville. Yeah, there's a bunch coming up. So just definitely check out my website. Just look up BradRedlich anywhere. I'm on bands in town and you can find all the dates.
So rest of 23, 24, I take it, I'm sure you have more songs in the hopper you're working on.
Yeah. So I've been kicking this idea around for a while to release another EP to go along with this one. Probably call it Shy Rock and Roll. So
there you go.
This will be the first time I've said that anywhere. So feel free to
you got the premiere.
Yeah, you got
big news, the big break.
You get the breaking news. But yeah, we're gonna hop back in the studio and probably do 5 more songs or something like that, and then package it together as a full record and probably drop that. That's kind of been my plan in my mind for now. But we got some really, really cool ones that we do live that haven't been recorded yet, and like some even more rockers than the ones that are on there. There's a song called Bad Luck that we've been playing. This song is like the fastest song you could possibly play and still be rock and roll and not punk. So like we're like
cool. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I think it's neat that you keep so busy doing this and you constantly recording, constantly playing, and you're balancing your normal work schedule in that. But I guess there's an advantage to being a solo artist compared to being in a full-time band where you've got to it's a democracy, and you got, you may have a band of 4 or 5 guys where you got to make sure their schedules align with yours. That's the one advantage you've got to be a solo artist. So you can do what you want as far as you got your own schedule. I mean, you got limitations with work and stuff, but you don't have to schedule 4 other guys. So I guess that's a way you can keep busy all the time.
Dude, yeah. It's I've done the band thing a few different times, and there was just always too many issues when it came to that. There was there's always someone who's a little bit more invested than everybody else, and I usually found that as being myself. So so really, like, it's a lot of work up front, definitely, starting as a solo artist, but now I've been doing this for years now, and it's harder to get the word out because it's all your connections. You don't have a group of guys doing stuff.
Right.
It's all my money up front. I'm paying these guys to play with me. Like,
Yeah.
it's it's a different thing. So, but
Yeah,
I'm
also got
prepared
more
for it.
responsible for, right?
Yeah, and I'm responsible if we survive or if we fail. So it's all, everything's on me. But I like it that way. I really do, and I like just being able to be the sole leader and being fair to everyone that works with me, and I think yeah, it's, I was meant to do it this way, definitely.
Yeah. No, it's great. And you do a great job marketing. You've got great signage, you got new great things all the time. Your ads are good. All the memes and the signs you put up for your performances, your TikTok videos. I mean, you're constantly working at it. And that's what you need nowadays. Really, your social media presence is how you're going to get people to know who you are. And and I'm so glad you could come and join us today, because I really want to, again, listeners, go find out. Go. Why don't you tell them real quick, Brad, how they can get a hold of you? Because I wanted listeners to find out how they can find all about BradRedlich.
Yeah, totally. I'm on all streaming services. Just search my name, BradRedlich. I've got about almost 30 songs now on Spotify. So
Wow.
there's no there's so much music that you guys can check out if you're just hearing about me. And yeah, I play shows pretty much every weekend in the Chicagoland area. So we're really making a big run at it this year, especially with the album coming out and music videos. We got a lot of behind the scenes footage coming out on YouTube, so go check me out there too. But a lot of my main stuff is through Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. And yeah, if you have any questions, just shoot me a message. That's kind of where I spend most of my time. I do TikTok and Facebook, but that's where I do most of my communication. So
No, that's great. Again, and if you're in the Chicagoland area, look up the website, find a show you can make it to, and go check them out, because you won't be disappointed. It's a great show. I want to quickly tell people they can find Retro Rock Roundup on all major platforms, including Spotify and iTunes. You can find us at retrorockroundup.com. We're on Twitter at Roundup Retro, and we are now on TikTok at Retro Rock Roundup. We want, and also, again, if you want to support the podcast and the great things we're doing, and win some prizes, you can go to patreon.com/Retro Rock Roundup. And for as little as $2 a month, you can support the podcast and win some prizes. $5 a month, you get to host your own show. So, less than a cup of coffee, everyone. If you want to come and support us, we'd love to have you on as part of the Retro Rock Patreon team. I want to quickly thank Black Dog Vinyl Cafe in Plainfield, Illinois, the official record store of Retro Rock Roundup, a place that Brad has played a few times. It's got coffee, great vinyl, craft beers and wine, and the best live music 5 nights a week in the Chicagoland area. So it's Black Vinyl Cafe in Plainfield, Illinois. That place is awesome. And Mike's just a great guy, the owner.
awesome.
It's a fun place to play. So what song today, I really get, again, Brad, thank you for being on, but we want to pick out of all these songs, what do you want as our play out song that we'll put on the end and put that out in full?
Oh man, I think Got to Be You. That title, the first track on Shyrock, I think.
Yeah, that's a great way to open it. That's great to open the album and a great way to end the show. I think it's truly a great rocker. So we're going to end with that. How about some last words to our listeners?
Anyone out there that loves music and likes live music and likes actual players and people who are really passionate about their craft, please come see me. There's a ton of bands that do it in this area. We are really fortunate to have all these different acts and this talent in the Chicagoland area. We just need more people to come to the shows and keep supporting us. We're doing all the work up front to put on these shows and bring entertainment and emotion to you guys. And music has been there for me when a lot of people weren't, and that's why I do this, and that's why I write these songs. So if you feel like that, hopefully you can connect to my music, and yeah, come out to a show. We have a great time. My fans are called the BR Nation, and we lift each other up. We're a very good group of people to come hang out with. And yeah, so it's all about good vibes.
No, it really is. And like Brad said, and go out and support the places that are supporting and having live bands. Go out and have a couple beers with them, have some food there, support them, because they're getting back from the pandemic, and they need your support too. But the musicians need you to come out and hear them and support them. I want to thank our listener. Thank Brad again for taking time out of his day and discuss his great new albums. We wish you the best in the future. We can't wait for the new music and have you back on when all the new album comes out. And we're going to end this episode today with the opening track from Brad's great new album, Shy Rock. This is Got to Be You. Thanks everybody, and have a great day.